So what happens when life just absolutely wallops you? When it feels completely unfair? How do you hold on to who you are, your faith, your perspective, when pain just takes over?
It's a universal question, isn't it?
It really is. And today we're diving deep into a story that tackles this head on. The second chapter of Job.
An ancient story, but incredibly relevant.
Exactly. It's not just some old tale.
Yeah.
Really explores human endurance, God's sovereignty, and what it actually means to trust when things seem, well, impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to unpack what happens next in Job's trial, pull out that ancient wisdom, and see how it speaks to us right here, right now, how it can maybe encourage our own obedience and strengthen our faith.
Sounds good. It's a powerful chapter.
Okay, let's get into it. This narrative is just fascinating.
It really is. So we pick right back up in that heavenly court setting.
Right, the sons of God, maybe angelic beings, presenting themselves before the Lord.
Yeah, and starkly, Satan is right there among them again. It immediately sets the stage, that there's more going on than just Job's earthly experience. There's this cosmic dimension.
And the conversation picks up almost immediately about Job. God brings him up first, doesn't he?
He does. He asks Satan, basically, "Have you seen my servant Job? There's no one like him, upright, fears God, shuns evil."
And then he adds that crucial part.
Yeah.
He still holds fast his integrity, even though you incited me against him to destroy him without cause.
It's a powerful affirmation. Despite losing everything, Job's core character, his integrity, hasn't cracked.
But Satan isn't convinced. He doubles down with that chilling line.
Skin for skin. Yeah.
Mhm.
He basically says, sure, he lost stuff, but he hasn't been hurt yet. Touch his own body, his bone and flesh, and then see what happens. He'll curse you to your face.
He's arguing Job's faith is purely transactional, right?
Yeah,
Based on comfort and well-being.
exactly. It's the direct challenge. Is Job's devotion genuine or just conditional?
Yeah.
What's fascinating, though, is God's response.
He grants permission, but with a very specific boundary.
Yes. Behold, he's in your hand, but save his life. God allows Satan to afflict Job physically, intensely even, but puts a clear limit. Satan doesn't have free rein.
That detail is so important. Even in suffering, God is sovereign, setting the boundaries.
Absolutely critical. And the result of that permission is, well, it's horrific.
Satan goes out and strikes Job with these terrible swords.
Sore boils, the text says, from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Just imagine that agony. It's not just a rash, it's debilitating, covering his entire body.
The description is just raw. Him sitting in ashes.
The place of mourning, yeah.
And using a piece of broken pottery, a potsherd, to scrape himself. You can almost feel the misery, the isolation.
It's utter physical and, you'd imagine, emotional devastation. And then his wife speaks.
Ah, yes. This part is just heart-wrenching. She sees him like this once great man, completely broken.
And likely overwhelmed by her own grief and confusion, she says.
Do you still hold fast your integrity? Curse God and die.
It's brutal. Coming from his wife, the one person you'd hope would be his support. She's basically saying, give up. It's not worth it.
But here's where Job's response is just staggering. It really gets interesting here.
It truly is remarkable.
He doesn't lash out. He says, "You speak as one of the foolish women speaks." Then he asks that profound question.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?
And the text makes a point of saying, in all this, Job did not sin with his lips. He maintains his integrity, even rebuking despair with this deep theological understanding.
Incredible steadfastness. He's not claiming to understand why, but he's standing on God's character.
And it's right after this that his friends show up.
Yes, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They hear about everything that's happened, and they come, the text says, to mourn with him and to comfort him. Genuine intention there.
Their initial reaction, though, is pure shock. They see him from a distance and don't even recognize him.
Can you imagine? The change must have been that drastic.
So they just weep, tear their robes, sprinkle dust on their heads, these outward signs of intense grief.
It's a powerful shared display of sorrow. But then comes something perhaps even more powerful.
Silence.
Exactly. They just sit with him on the ground for 7 days and 7 nights, and no one says a word.
Why? Because they saw his grief was just too great for words.
That's what the text says, for they saw that his grief was very great. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that initial silence speaks volumes about the power of just being present. Sometimes words fail.
Okay, so this whole chapter is intense. Job's physical suffering, the dialogue with his wife, the arrival of his friends. What does this ancient drama mean for us? How do these insights actually help us in our modern lives, maybe strengthen our faith or encourage obedience today?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways, I think, is that suffering isn't always punishment. That's a huge one.
Right. The idea that bad things only happen to bad people, or that if you're suffering, you must have done something wrong.
Job completely demolishes that idea. He was righteous, yet his trials got worse. It tells us that, illness, loss, hardship, they aren't automatically signs that God is angry with you.
So understanding that can free us from a lot of false guilt.
Exactly. It strengthens faith because you can trust God's character even when circumstances don't make sense, rather than constantly searching for what you did wrong. It encourages obedience rooted in trust, not fear of immediate retribution for every misstep.
That's powerful. And what about how Job handled his wife's despair? There's a lesson there too, right? About staying grounded.
Definitely. Pain tests relationships, doesn't it? His wife faltered under the pressure, which is understandable, but Job responded with measured grace, even though he was misunderstood.
So for us, that means when hardship hits and maybe people close to us start to wobble or offer bad advice out of their own fear or grief.
We need to try and stay anchored in truth. Don't absorb their despair. It's about modeling spiritual stability. That's a form of obedience, too, staying true to what you know about God, even when your support system is shaken.
Which ties into what you said about the friend's silence, that ministry of presence.
Yes, that ancient wisdom is so relevant. We live in a world that wants to fix everything, offer quick explanations, maybe even platitudes.
Everything happens for a reason, even when it just hurts.
Right. But Job's friends initially show us that sometimes the most powerful, most Christ-like thing you can do is just show up and be quiet. Sit with someone in their pain. Share the burden without trying to explain it away.
So it's about presence over pronouncements. That feels like a very obedient, humble approach to comforting others.
It really is. And related to humility is Job's acceptance of both good and evil, or rather, good times and hard times, from God.
That quote, shall we receive good and shall we not receive evil? It challenges our modern sense of entitlement, doesn't it? Like we somehow deserve a life free of major struggles if we're good.
Absolutely. Job's story reminds us that spiritual attacks can happen, suffering is real, but God remains sovereign and sets limits. He's in control, even when it doesn't feel like it.
So the call is to trust God in the sunshine and the storm.
Precisely. Accepting both blessings and trials with humility. That really deepens faith because it's grounded in God's sovereignty, not our circumstances. And it encourages obedience because you're submitting to his will, whatever it entails, not just when it's easy.
And underlying all of this is Job's integrity. He just wouldn't let it go.
That's maybe the central thread here. Through the loss, the emotional pain, the excruciating physical agony, his character remained intact.
That's an incredible example for anyone facing long-term hardship, isn't it?
It really is. It inspires us to guard our own integrity, our principles, our core character, no matter the pressure. When everything else feels like it's crumbling, holding onto your integrity is a powerful act of faith and obedience. It's something internal that external circumstances can't ultimately touch if you don't let them.
Wow. So looking back at Job chapter 2, it's just packed with these profound truths about suffering, yes, but also about unwavering faith, God's ultimate control, and the strength of integrity.
It truly challenges us to think about how we navigate the inevitable storms of life. It offers a model, not of easy answers, but of steadfast trust.
It shows how faith can be strengthened, how obedience can be lived out, even in the absolute depths. It gives you a kind of blueprint for holding on to hope.
A timeless blueprint, really. It resonates just as much today as it did thousands of years ago.
So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. When unexpected hardship hits you, when the pressure feels intense, how will you actively cultivate that same kind of steadfast integrity that Job displayed, even when it felt like everything around him was falling apart?